When did they take those out?
They're in the Smith now.
Gotcha.
All right, let's see. Like the decorative rolls of paper towels, I think.
Are you one of them?
You know,
Meditate on paper towels.
well, or as I like to say, people who hate organized religion are fine when they're congregations.
No.
Particularly organized. All right.
So everybody can dry off the sweat.
Wow, we get try.
Yeah.
We're lucky.
I hadn't had breakfast at our sukkah up until now, and let's see. And I finally did this morning. It was a special kind of, I don't know, satisfaction in having a Topo Chico in the sukkah. It just felt like Sukkot in Texas, baby.
You didn't have a taco? Today's National Taco Day.
Is it?
Oh, wow.
Oh, if I had only known, I would have gotten my favorite taco. Taco Shack. Potato, egg, and cheese taco at Taco Shack. Yeah. Just, it's not trying to be anything fancy. This, by the way, this is being streamed, which of course is really a vital Jewish great Torah here. Yeah, no, it's like
Yep.
fresh. It's just fresh, right? The tortillas are fresh. The eggs are cooked right. Yeah.
Maybe they'll
Yeah.
sponsor
Salsa's
our
really
meditation.
good, huh?
Maybe they'll sponsor our meditations.
They should. We should have a little logo, Taco Shack logo. And it's a local family-owned business.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the one on Spicewood Springs is gone.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they opened
Shoot.
up one on Anderson and,
Oh.
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, it's,
It's now I sound like a cranky old Austinite. I suppose I have a right to be it's like not, they're like not hipster tacos. They're not trying to be like, you know, it's just like, yeah, it's really good. All right, anyway, now that we've gotten that vital information taken care of, let us sit. Oh. And let's see. Stuart, will you do me the tiny favor of just closing that door?
Sure.
Just, yeah. Just to keep some of the chatter out. Thanks, Stuart.
I could do that. I couldn't give you the right list the other day. I know how to close the door.
Sitting here, even if our day up until this point has been stressful or hectic or loaded down with lots of responsibilities, things to be done, we can experience what it is like to deliberately and intentionally know that we have set time aside to be simply present and still. As a gift to ourselves, as a gift and a blessing to each other, and ultimately as a gift to the world, in that the more awareness and awakeness and discernment that we are able, however imperfectly, to begin to cultivate, expands and grows the possibility that we'll have a greater capacity to behave in our lives and in this world with wisdom and clarity and greater skillfulness and discernment. slowing down and being still, we can begin to notice and be more aware of the feelings and emotions and thoughts that rise and fall within us. And with that awareness, we can create some space between a thought, a feeling, a memory, a story. Space between those things that arise in our minds and in our hearts and the way that we do or don't act upon them. What is this feeling? What about this thought? Is it really worth paying attention to? Or can I make a choice to put my attention and my energy somewhere else? Sometimes there can be such great relief in being caught up at first in some internal turmoil and struggle may grow out of a feeling or a thought that we don't like, something that's uncomfortable to feel, and we're caught up in that very natural human tendency to push away things that don't feel good, things that we don't want to experience. And then sometimes there can be this moment of awareness in which we realize that this is not a struggle that I have to really participate in. Nothing is forcing me to engage with this, to give it so much energy, so much attention. A meditation teacher on a retreat once said, this is like holding one end of the rope in a tug of war, being engaged in a inner struggle that is unpleasant and exhausting, and realizing that it is within our power to just drop the rope, just let go of it. Not to have to respond, not to have to push back, not to have to fight quite so much with ourselves, but just drop that rope, let it go. It's okay. There'll be plenty more stories and thoughts and other things that will arise, but for now, as we sit here, in this really friendly and gentle and supportive community that we create, we can just let that rope go and rest into the moment. As we are moving day by day toward the end of Sukkot, we can take a little extra time to engage with that beautiful bit of poetry that we sing as part of Hashkivenu. We will certainly sing it in a bit. Ufros alenu sukat shlomecha. Spread over us a sukkah, a booth, a dwelling of your peace. We might understand that as a prayer. May I be receptive to that Sukkat Shalom. May I see myself as worthy and deserving of that Sukkat Shalom. May I come to see the people around me and the people in my life as being worthy and deserving in their humanity of a Sukkat Shalom, a shelter of peace. Whenever we sit here like this, create in this space a Sukkat Shalom, a quiet and peaceful shelter. Place of friendship and blessing, positive regard, kindness. A place where we gain some respite from our own judgments of ourselves and the judgments of others. A place of shalom, wholeness, equilibrium, rest. So, let's take a few minutes in this Sukkat Shalom, in this peaceful space. Letting our awareness expand to rest upon all the subtle movements of our bodies as we breathe in and out. Not thinking about the breath, just experiencing it, spending time with it, and without judgment or criticism, just coming back to the breath when we realize that our minds have wandered off. So let's do a little singing together. This is a little song that we sang last Friday night for Sukkot. And we'll sing it again Friday night and Shabbat morning for Simchat Torah. It's a line about Sukkot from the Torah. The words are V'samachta, from the word Simcha, V'samachta b'chagecha. You shall rejoice in your festival and your holiday, referring to Sukkot, and then Simchat Torah. V'hayita ach sameach, and you will know, or may you know, a joy which is complete. So, not to worry so much about the Hebrew words, we'll pick them up, but we'll sing it through a few times. I always wish I had a hand drum whenever we sing this. It kind of lends itself to one, but it goes like this. Let's do it pretty slow. V'samachta b'chagecha v'hayita ach sameach. That repeats. V'samachta b'chagecha v'hayita ach sameach. Let's do that first part again. Here we go. V'samachta b'chagecha v'hayita ach sameach. V'samachta b'chagecha v'hayita ach sameach. V'samachta b'chagecha v'hayita ach sameach. And that repeats. V'samachta b'chagecha v'hayita ach sameach. That's the whole thing. V'samachta b'chagecha v'hayita ach sameach. 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 One more time. V'samachta b'chagecha v'hayita ach sameach. 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 All right. As always, no rush. Take your time. And when you feel like you're ready, you can let your eyes open. And we will take up some of the weekday evening service. And I'll explain something when we get to the tefillah, to the Amidah. We'll start on page 4 with Baruch Hu. I want to pretend we're in Sunday school. La 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Avivorach. Baruch
Paro Ma'ari Aravim, B'chokhma Potei Sha'arim, U'bifuna Meshaneh Gitim, U'machalif et Hazmanim, U'mesader et HaKochavim, B'mishmerotehem Parakia Kirtzono, Borei Yom V'Layla, Golel Or Mipnei Choshech, V'choshech Mipnei Or, U'ma'avir Yom U'mevi Layla, U'ma'avdil Ben Yom U'ben Layla, Adonai Tzva'ot Shemo, El Chai V'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai Hamari Aravim.
And then the next page, page 8. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Hukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shobenu u'kumenu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu u'vahem nege yomam v'layla nege yomam v'layla v'yavatecha al tasir v'yimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Ohev amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam. Have a seat. And we'll continue via Haftas on page 12. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol ma'odecha v'hayu hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'am v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'shokbecha u'v'kumecha u'b'shartam le'ot yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'ktavtam hamezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem ekol tzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'lohechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lehiyot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 16. Michamocha. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele, malakutecha ra'u banecha, Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Ze'eli anu v'yamaru Adonai imloch Adonai Kifada Adonai et Yaakov Ga'alo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch Ata Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. So now we come to Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha. Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Sukkot Shlomecha Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Sukkot Shlomecha Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Uferos Aleinu Sukkot Sukkot Shlomecha Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Beautiful. Page 20 is the Reader's Kaddish. Yikada v'yikada shemei Rabba v'yamadi v'rachirute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon v'yomechon u'b'chayechon beit Yisrael b'gala u'vizman kariv v'yimru amen yehi shmei Rabba mevorach v'alam u'lomei amaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'rihu leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran me'ama v'imru amen. So page 74 is where we'll pick up with tefillah. I think it was here last week or Friday night. I jumped the gun on the change in the Gevurot from Morid Hatal to Mashiv Haruach Morid Hagashem. Morid Hatal means who causes the dew to come down, and Mashiv Haruach Morid Hagashem means who causes the wind to blow and the rain to fall, which is the sort of wintertime version. And I jumped the gun because that actually starts this weekend. The winter version starts with Simchat Torah. So we're still doing Morid Hatal. We're still talking about dew this week. Yeah. Anyway, after a summer like this, you can understand praying for rain. You know, so, totally. Okay. Anyway, page 74. Adonai sefatai tifta Ufi yadi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. El Hagadol, Hagimur, Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Lekonei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Gula Livnei B'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo B'yahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Be'ezras Sarah, Ata Gibor L'olam Adonai, V'chayei Hakol, Ata Rab L'Hoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim
Mekaye Hakol Merachamim Rabim, Somech Nofnim Merofei Kolim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Mihamov Haba Gevurot, Umidom Melach, Melech Memit Umekayem, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Ata L'chayot HaKol, Baruch Ata Adonai, Mekayeh HaKol. Ata Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, V'Kadoshim B'Kol Yom Ya'alu Chasela, Baruch Ata Adonai, Mekayeh HaKadosh. Yehiyu leratzon imre fi ve'imi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri ve'go'ali. Hey everybody, Erev Tov. It's a nice little experience that sometimes happens on the meditation service on Yom Kippur, which is we sit down and we close our eyes and get started, and then we open up our eyes and there's like twice as many people there as there were. All these people have sort of like magically appeared in the room. So I'm really glad that you're here. I brought my lulav and etrog today just on the chance that as we leave and we're gonna pass by the sukkah out there, if anybody wants to have a little demo and get a chance to wave it, you can. I'll say something that I've been telling this a lot lately, and I may have said it to this group, and if I have, you can stop me or please stop me if I'm repeating myself. But it took me a long time to get a connection to Sukkot. I grew up in a family. My parents were the children of immigrants to this country and spoke Yiddish, and grew up in a home where Shabbos dinner was important, and lots of nice things like that. But we were not Orthodox by any stretch, and there was no question that we were going to take off from school for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which was easy in Philadelphia because the public schools were closed. So it wasn't as big a deal. But there was never any conversation about taking off for Sukkot. It just didn't really register. And when I was in rabbinical school, and I was so in love with like Jewish philosophy, and ideas, and the feeling of my brain putting things together in that way, and studying with Eugene Borowitz and big universals and big truths with a capital T, I thought Sukkot was kind of dumb. I found it kind of embarrassing. I really like that. Because in the access and think about in terms of big abstract ideas, the idea of sort of gathering some vegetation together and sort of waving it seemed kind of parochial and earthbound and, a little silly. And it wasn't until buying a house in Austin and having a backyard and putting up a sukkah, and knowing what that felt like, and as I've said now 1,000 times, saying to my wife, honey, I'm off to buy lumber, which I never thought I would ever say in the course of my entire marriage, I'm off to buy lumber. And putting the sukkah kit together, I kind of sort of got it, and I got, for myself at least, the idea of having a holiday that gets you outside, which in Texas is a challenge, because it's not sweater weather here. somebody posted on Twitter, they said, what, it was a question like, what do you look most forward to about Sukkot? And somebody who lives in New York wrote sweater weather, and I'm like, oh, shut up. It's sweater weather. It's like, there's mosquitoes here, and it's muggy. But having something that gets you outside, and also, look, with what we're dealing with and what we've done environmentally, a holiday that centers on seasons and harvest, and it's I have found it to be really beautiful. I really like it, and so that's really all I kind of wanted to share. And as I said, if anybody's got a minute afterwards and you want to shake the lulav in the sukkah, I'll show you how to do it.
Not in a silly way.
Well, it could be a silly way too. Sukkot, I'll end by saying this. Sukkot has 4 different names. Sukkot, which means booths. Chag HaAsif, which means the holiday of gathering in, because it was the end of the harvest season. Hechag, which means the holiday, because before Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur were a big deal, in biblical times it was like Sukkot, that was the big holiday. Simchatenu, which means the season of our joy. So it's such an interesting contrast to, Yom Kippur, which at the end of the day is an optimistic holiday about our capacity to change and be better and do better. But it's still, there's something austere and reality and all that. And then Sukkot is yay, abundance, and so yeah. Which is why, this is the last thought, which is why the rabbis say that if you are fulfilling the mitzvah of having a dinner in the sukkah and it starts to rain and you sit there in the rain and don't go inside, you are what is called a chasid shoteh, which means an ignoramus. In fact, the Talmud specifically says, how do you know when you need to go inside? If it's raining enough to spoil your soup, this is actually what it says, go in. Why? Because it's man samchatenu, right? If observing Sukkot is miserable, you've just lost the thread, right? You've lost it. So that's when you go inside.
Does that apply to the sweat that rolls down as well?
Well, I'll tell you. That thought came to me. I started having dinner in the sukkah last night. My wife's out of town for most of this month, and so I'm sitting there, pathetic and lonely in the sukkah with my Amy's frozen entree, and I'm realizing I'm slapping away mosquitoes. It's really muggy, and I'm like, okay, don't want to be a chasid shoteh, went in the house and finished. But, anyway, yeah.
I remember when
yeah.
Rabbi Olstein was here, we had a sukkah inside.
Well, we used to do that. Yeah, we used to do it. The congregation in Great Neck in New York where I was used to build the congregational sukkah was on the bima.
Ooh.
Yeah, and we also had one. We also had this pretty little one that we used to build in the preschool too. I haven't seen that one around this year. Yeah, it's a very sweet holiday. Anyway, all right. Inside that cover.
Oh, I know.
Lenu is correct.
You want the light?
No, it's all right. This is the biggest, heaviest scroll we have. Okay, now why is there a red solo cup? That is disturbing. That and the paper towels is.
Maybe we have a ghost from Folberg.
Reading Torah makes you.
Somebody was having a beer while they read Torah. playing beer pong. Okay.
Shehu
כל העולם, אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
598 is Kaddish. Anybody want to mention? Anybody else? Okay. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabba v'yamad divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon u'yirmechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael v'halal v'zman karim v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach v'alam u'lamei alaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitmar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei nekudisha b'richu le'ela minkol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nachamata da'amiran v'yama v'himru amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol Yoshetel v'imru amen. All right, we'll make a little circle here. Get this off the floor. As we have been taught, v'samachta b'chagecha v'hayita ach sameach, you shall rejoice in your festival and find true and complete joy. May we when we carry with ourselves as we leave this place some measure of simcha, some measure of the happiness of peace and stillness and shared affection and community. And may our hearts be lifted by this simcha in the days ahead. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Holy One bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. May the Eternal One shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Holy One be with you and give you shalom, wholeness and peace in a world of healing, equality, safety, justice, and peace for all who dwell on earth. And we say,
Amen.
Thanks everybody. Erev Tov, you're so welcome.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm not, like, nobody has to do, does anybody want to do this thing, or?
I do.
You want to do it? All right, okay. I'm just gonna, I'll pick up my stuff afterwards.
I love that.
How are you after that meeting? Were you okay?
We were a lot better after you talked to us.
Good,
No, it was, it was like,
It was really
wow,
intense.
talk about needing proof for the pudding. It's like,
yeah.
you healed us, yes.
Well, I don't know that, but, I mean,
It
it
was
was, yeah.
better. Much,
Yeah.
we're much better, thank you. It was a fun meeting.
I wonder how important it is to make the connections. It just
I
feels so
don't.
satisfying to do it, you know?
Right, since then, look at
So then when we come on,
together?
Yeah.
then when we come on Saturday, we unlink them.
Yeah, but it's not, it takes a lot out of me to not link them together, you know? I just gotta let them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Rabbi Folberg, did you turn the?
Oh, yeah. We'll be watching like
10 minutes.
Thank you, Joel.
I didn't point it out, actually. I was just.